Hello, 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 and welcome to my kitchen. My name is Beverly Lucas, and I am the host of For the Love of Cooking Fridays. What do we do on Fridays? I try my best to try to show you how to create a meal at home that is better than the restaurant. Today we're making something extra special. Well, every Friday is something extra special. Every time we're in the kitchen, there's something extra special. I'm making what I am calling seafood primavera. So seafood primavera. So what is that? The word primavera means springtime in Italian. So any type of primavera is when you take vegetables and you mix it with pasta with a sauce. So I have a recipe in my cookbook, For the Love of Cooking, and the basis of the recipe is on page 53, and this is a shrimp primavera. The first dish that I made on video, I actually did a Zoom while we were going through the pandemic, and we had a cooking class and everybody bought all their ingredients, and then I stood here in my kitchen and I showed them how to make the meal. And that was the start of me really wanting to make videos, really wanting to help people and to show people how you don't have to always go out for takeout, how when you make food at home, it can be more nutritious, and you know the ingredients, and it's to your liking, and it's to your taste. You have mothers that want to try something new. You may be a spouse that you want to do something special for your mate. You could be a grandmother like me and want to do something extra special in the kitchen with your granddaughters or your grandsons. So that's what we're going to do today. So I'm going to introduce to you my ingredients. I'm a little animated, I am. So for the pasta, what we're going to use, since we're really heavy on the vegetables that we're using, I'm using a really light pasta. So I am using angel hair pasta. For our protein, we have the star of the show, which is some lump crab, 16-ounce container of lump crab. I have about a half a pound of extra large shrimp. Now our vegetables, we have a variety of vegetables for this. And what I want you to pay attention to is to pay attention to not only the variety, but pay attention to the colors and the texture. Because when you're cooking, all those go into what your layers and layers of flavor will be. So the first thing that I have is about a half a pound of asparagus. And what I've done is I've blanched the asparagus. When you blanch any type of vegetable, you put it in boiling water for 2 minutes. Exactly 2 minutes, I set my timer. And then once that 2 minutes is up, you take those vegetables and you put it in what's called the ice bath. So it's a bowl of water filled with ice. And what that does is, first, it stops the cooking. And secondly, it reserves the nutrients within that vegetable. So we have asparagus. Next, I looked in my refrigerator and I had some pearl onions. So these are the onions that we're going to use. I also sliced up or slivered up some carrots. And the reason why I didn't cut the carrots lengthwise or crosswise, because I'm paying attention to the texture of this dish. So here we have slivers of carrots, and that was just like 1 carrot. I have a half a cup of corn. I'm using frozen corn. I have chopped up 2 celery stalks. Again, pay attention to the colors and the textures. I have 1 can, 14-ounce can of diced tomatoes. You can get the medium, you can get it with chilies, you can get it with basil and oregano, however you want your primavera to taste. Here I have some baby potatoes that I cut up. I have them in cold water. Cold water prevents them from oxidifying or turning black and dark brown. I have some cream, some whipped cream. And I have some shrimp stock. So if you watch my videos, whenever I'm using shrimp for a dish for a sauce, what I did was I purchased the shrimp with the shells still on. I take off the shells and I put them in a pot with about a half a cup of water. Yeah, about a half a cup of water. It depends on how many shrimp. If this was a pound of shrimp, then I would have put in a cup of water. I put that in there. I have this, what's called Better Than Bouillon, and this is a fish base. So if you don't have anything like this, and if you don't want to use the shells from the shrimp, you could always use just a jar of clam juice. And that's what I did before I learned about this and before I learned about the shrimp stock. So this is my shrimp stock. What else do we have? I have some Parmesan cheese, a little thyme and a bay leaf. These are like my two favorite combinations. And of course I have some butter. I also have some seasonings, Creole seasonings. And of course, I'm from Maryland. We don't cook anything without Old Bay. So I have some Old Bay. So what I'm doing now is I have my water on for my angel hair pasta, because I'm going to put that in last, because that only takes about 3 minutes to cook. So what I'm going to do now, according to my directions and my cookbook, is I'm going to saute the celery and the onions and the carrots, and I also should have some garlic somewhere. I'm going to mince up a little bit of garlic. Let's get started. I am melting the butter. I put in about 3 tablespoons of butter. Also here I have the water. So it's water, and when you cook any pasta, you want to make sure that you salt the water. So it should taste like salt water, because it gives the pasta, it brings out the flavor of the pasta. So I have that. That is still boiling. I have taken my onions, my pearl onions. I cut some of them in half because they were big. I also have chopped up my garlic, and I'm going to put the garlic in last, because one thing that you do not want is you do not want to burn your garlic. It will ruin your whole meal because it becomes very bitter. I'm also going to add my 2 stalks of celery. And I'm going to add my slivers of carrots. And we're just going to let this cook out until they're a little translucent. Okay, our vegetables are tender. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add the garlic. And I'm going to cook it exactly no longer than 1 minute. Once you can really smell the garlic, that's when you know it's done. And we can add our liquids. The smell, it smells so good. Now I'm going to add a little white wine. This is about 1/4 of a cup white wine. It's not going to taste like alcohol. It just gives it another layer of flavor, and it cooks out. It smells so good. And it gives us another layer of flavor. All right, I'm going to get the corn. Well, let me let this cook out for a few more minutes. Actually, let me put some salt and pepper. A little bit of salt, about 1/2 teaspoon. And some fresh ground pepper. Now I'm going to add my shrimp stock. That was about 1/2 cup, maybe a little less than 1/2 cup. What's next? We have our tomatoes. Again, another layer. Whew. This is going to be so good. And because tomatoes have a lot of acid, to cut down on the acid, we're going to add just one of my secret ingredients. I learned this from my mother, and that is just a little bit of sugar. like a teaspoon. Now we're going to add the corn. This is not traditional Primavera. This is Beverly's Primavera, or seafood Primavera. Okay, next I'm gonna add, I'm not using all those potatoes. I'm only using a cup of the potatoes. And we're just going to add our bay leaf. Where are you, bay leaf? And thyme. Let me see what else. Okay, before this cooks down, I want to taste it because we want to let the potatoes cook, but I want to make sure that the sauce is right. So we just take a little bit. Yes, yes. Beverly, that is so good. So I'm gonna put the cover on this and I'm gonna let it cook until the potatoes are soft. And in the meantime, the water is still boiling for our angel hair pasta. I have a pasta pan, it's big, it has a lot of water, so it takes a while for it to get hot. Our potatoes are done. And the reason why I cooked everything in this skillet is I wanted you to be able to see everything as it was cooking. And I got that from one of our viewers, or one of my viewers, that said that it would be best if they could see the food as I'm cooking it, as opposed to having the camera far away. So I wanted you to see everything that is done here. What I'm going to do now is I am going to transfer it to another pot, because the rest of the ingredients will not fit into here. So we're just going to pour it in here like that. So we're able to add more ingredients. Now we are going to add our other ingredients. We're going to add our blanched asparagus. Look how beautiful. Look how green that is. We're going to add our asparagus. Again, that was about 1/2 pound of thin asparagus. And we're going to add our shrimp. Our shrimp is going to take about 3 minutes to cook. Our water is also boiling for our angel hair pasta. So we're going to put that in here. And we need to stir it around. I didn't put any oil or anything like that in this because we need the starch for the water, because we're gonna add some of the pasta water to our dish. Look at the colors. That's layers and layers of flavor. Another thing that I did is I seasoned the shrimp before I put it in with the Old Bay, and I have also seasoned the crab meat with the Old Bay. So instead of putting it in the sauce, I put it on the seafood. I'm going to take some of the pasta water and put it in here to loosen this up just a little bit. The shrimp is almost done. We're going to add a little Creole seasoning, not a lot, because it already has a lot of taste to it. Mix that. Let me put in the Parmesan cheese. And the cream. If if you could smell what's going on in this kitchen. Let's get the angel hair pasta out. And we're just gonna put it in. As it continues to cook, turn this off. And it is cooked al dente, which means it still has a little bite to it. I'm just gonna mix that in like that. Oh, that smells so good. Lastly, we're gonna add in the crab. I'm gonna save a little bit for the garnish, and we're gonna fold that in. Woo, child. My daughter says that. I get that from her. Whew. What a meal. Get the bay leaf out. I already took the thyme out. All right, let's plate. Our meal is complete. Look at that. The shrimp, the crab, the asparagus, the tomatoes. I garnished it with the little green onion. And you just serve it with a little extra Parmesan cheese. And let's taste it. Mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. 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 Let me tell you, if you want a dish that's better than the restaurant, watch my YouTube channel. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. But most of all, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you for spending this time with me. And I just want to remind you that I do have a cookbook. And a version of what I made today is in this cookbook on page 53. To order the cookbook, you can just go to fortheloveofcooking.biz, or you can go to beverlyslucas.com and it will take you to the website. Again, thank you for being in the kitchen with me. Thank you for all of your comments. Thank you for your support. Thank you for sending me pictures of when you make the meals. Thank you for giving me suggestions about how I should do my channel. I really appreciate it. I know that my food is a little bit unique. I have my own different style. I have no culinary training at all. But one thing I can tell you is that I love to be in the kitchen, and people love my food. And I love my food also. Be with me on next week when we make another creation, because we are in the kitchen doing what it is that we love to do. Thank you.